And on today's nightmare-filled adventure, we're coming back with another top 10. This one, however, involves my own personal physical media collection. So while I've been doing this list of underrated hidden gems, know that I own some of those films, but not all of them. This list, however, everything you're about to see, I physically own. And this is why I wanted to showcase it. This top 10 has no real genre as well as like zombies, slashers, stuff like that. These are just horror films all around in my collection that I specially bought because of interest, and I haven't heard a lot of word of mouth about. These are the films that if you come into my life, come over to visit, more likely I'm going to try to put one of these on and show it if you haven't seen it. So with that being said, let's get right into that list of top 10 underrated horror gems. Coming in at number 10, Dude Bro Party Massacre 3. Released in 2015, this is a spoof comedy horror film that I think if you love scary movie, those types of films, this is right up your alley. So the whole gimmick to this is that a popular horror franchise in the 80s disappears, and only the third one is left for everyone to watch and revisit. So that's the whole gimmick. There isn't a part 1, part 2. This starts with 3 and ends with 3. And the chaos that ensues of trying to figure out what happened in the other 2 films with the hilariousness that's added to what's going on in the third one make this a really great film. So I love the way that it rips on Friday the 13th, even Sleepaway Camp. But the reason that honestly it's at number 10 is that some of the jokes do get stretched real thin, including the last 5 minutes of this film. It feels like we're beating a dead horse. However, with all that being said, you have Patton Oswalt in this thing, and he's always funny in everything he shows up in. So do yourselves a favor, if you want a good laugh, check this one out. It's available on Tubi and Pluto. Coming in at number 9, VFW. Released in 2019, tells the story of Army vets at a VFW who have to band together and protect a woman who has stumbled into their bar from a vicious gang outside trying to get in. Now, this is one of those films where the bad guys think they know everything, but they have no idea what they're up against until it's too late. The way these vets band together to protect this woman from showing their skills of what they've learned from years on the battlefield is impressive. This thing is bloody, it's gory, it's cringy at times, and it knows how to go there. It has a stacked cast with Stephen Lang, who we all love from Don't Breathe, Fred Williamson, William Sadler, so you know these have some powerhouse performances in it. This thing has a killer ending, so do yourselves a favor and check this one out. It is streaming on Shudder. Coming in at number 8, Crawl. Released in 2019, tells the story of a woman trying to desperately reach her father during a Category 5 hurricane while he is trapped in the crawl space of their childhood home. But when the levees break and the alligators come out, it becomes a whole new scenario. So these types of films are everywhere. Alligators, crocodiles, versus. Any sci-fi movie you can find is going to have that. Now what puts this thing apart is not only with Sam Raimi being involved in this film, but this does one of the greatest representations of why alligators are so dangerous. This movie actually has one of the best death crawls, death spins that an alligator does that I've ever seen on film. This is one where your heroes do not walk away with a scrape or a bruise. They walk away with missing limbs trying to survive this. It is incredibly smart. It is incredibly original. It is painful at times. But do yourselves a favor. Please check this film out. you will quickly find it's one of your favorite alligator films outside of Lake Placid. So check it out. It is now currently streaming on Pluto. Coming in at number 7, The Void. Released in 2016, tells the story of a small town sheriff and some of the town's residents being trapped overnight in a local hospital, with monsters on the inside and masked knife-wielding intruders on the out. Now, this is the only film on the list I have actually done the most recent revisit to. Initially, I had this at number 10, but as it turns out, upon rewatching it, I needed to move it even higher. There are elements I found in this film that made me compare it in one part to Evil Dead, and then by the end of it, I am comparing it to Hellraiser. It knows how to take these elements and blend them together into an original film. By the time you get to the end of this, you are in full Hellraiser territory, and it is great. This thing is not afraid to push itself with its surprising kills, its gore, and one thing I really love is that all the effects are practical, even down to the creatures. You are supposed to be, and don't worry if you feel lost, you're supposed to feel lost and not knowing what's going on or what's happening because you're supposed to be in the mindset of the main character. That's another reason I love this film. But by the time you get to the end of it and you have the full story, you realize how great the journey was. So do yourself a favor, please check out The Void, especially if you are an Evil Dead and Hellraiser fan. It is on Peacock and Tubi currently, so check it out. Coming in at number 6, Dark City. Released in 1998, tells the story of a man who wakes up at a grisly murder with no memory, being hunted through the city by policemen, guys in trench coats, and a woman claiming to be his wife. So if you go and watch a trailer for this, you're going to be like, he left a lot out. And yes, I know it was released in 98, so it probably is okay to spoil things, but as original of a concept that this movie is and still holds to this day, for those out there who have not seen it, I do not want to ruin a thing. I still think that this movie holds up and has one of the best premises and twists and turns of any horror film. And I know I'm stretching it that it's a horror film. In a way, this is a sci-fi thriller, but the way it encapsulates different time periods in one movie, especially the noir time period, is amazing. Kiefer Sutherland also stars in this film, turning in a performance that we haven't seen before or since out of him. So guys, please do yourselves a favor, go check this out. It is currently streaming on Peacock and Tubi. I promise you will walk away going, I know why he had to be so vague. And coming in at number 5, Bone Tomahawk. Released in 2015, tells the story of a tribe of cannibals that go into a small town and kidnap their settlers. Now the sheriff has to put together a group of gunslingers to go after them and bring their people home. Now this is a film that I am surprised is not a massive big hit, especially in the horror community. This thing has a stacked cast if you've ever seen one, from Kurt Russell to Matthew Fox, David Arquette. I don't know how this movie didn't explode. So, yes, there is blood, yes, there is gore, but to me, the greatest part about this film is the journey of the characters, because they all have different personalities. Matthew Fox, being my favorite character in this film, turns in one of the best performances I've ever seen him do outside of Jack and Lost. And you also have Kurt Russell there, who's always going to show up. And yes, there is that scene. If you know this film, you know the scene I'm talking about. Yes, it is painful, yeah. But we also since then have had films like Terrifier. Doesn't mean that scene doesn't hold up, it just hits a little different nowadays. However, please do yourselves a favor of anything, check this one out. You will love it. You will wonder the same as me as why it wasn't a bigger hit than what it was. It is currently on Netflix and Tubi, so there is no excuse. So check it out. And coming in at number 4, Glorious. Released in 2022, tells the story of a man who gets trapped in the bathroom at a rest stop with another individual in a stall, and the only way they have to communicate is through a glory hole. So I know what you're thinking from everything I just said, even down to what the movie is called. But trust me, it is not what you think. That is the entire point of it. Are there comedy elements to this film? Yes, there are. However, there is a deeper, richer story that is in this film, and honestly has one of the best twists at the end of it. So a lot of this film, especially toward the end, does remind me of Nicolas Cage's The Color of Night. However, you have J.K. Simmons in here, and you know when he's in the film, no matter what is going on, he is going to show up to play. He's going to be the powerhouse actor, whether he's the good guy or the bad guy. And this is a film where you cannot decide whether his character is good or bad. And that is a little bit of foreshadowing to your main character. Everything about this film works. It is bloody, it is gory, and it does have hilarious gags. But trust me, if you watch this film, you will be impressed by the twist at the end of it. So impressed by this film that when I had the chance to meet the writer, the only thing I could do was gush about the ending of it. So please do yourselves a favor, check this out. It is on Shudder. Understand what I am talking about. You will love this film. And coming in at number 3, Splinter. Released in 2008, tells the story of a couple on a road trip who get kidnapped by another couple on the run and are held hostage. Once they reach the local gas station, however, they have to band together against a creature and or virus that is spreading quickly. So, this is one that not a lot of people know about, at least in my circle. That is very surprising about how good it actually is. So have you ever wondered what would happen if Cabin Fever was actually a good movie? Well, that's Splinter. It does everything that Cabin Fever wanted to do, only in the right direction with smarter characters and more at risk. There are scenes in this film that are very painful to how this creature virus spreads to anything that it infects or touches. There is actually a very painful scene with a box cutter that I will never forget. Everything about this film works, to its acting, to the bonds that you see between who you think are the bad guys to who the good guys are, how they have to band together to survive this and drop all egos altogether. So please do yourselves a favor and check this one out. There is absolutely no excuse not to see how great this film is. It is currently streaming on Pluto, so check it out. And coming in at number 2, The Belco Experiment. Released in 2016, the film tells the story of a company called Belco Industries, where one day 80 of its employees are locked in the office building and a mysterious voice tells them to kill or be killed, only one can survive. So before we go any further, let's talk about James Gunn. James Gunn was the one that wrote this film and produced it. And I want to go ahead and give some acknowledgement to why that's important. You have films like Brightburn out there. You have Guardians. You have the new Superman coming up. You have Slither. James Gunn has proven that he knows how to write and direct and produce anything of horror, comic, nerd related. He is for it, he is there. Every single one of his horror films I absolutely adore and love, and this is my favorite horror movie that he has written. So this is basically The Office meets Battle Royale. There are comedy elements, there is that James Gunn humor that we all love, but when it's serious, it's serious. When friends are against friends, co-workers are against co-workers, and you are left at these impossible choices, these impossible odds, you do see human nature start coming out for survival. This thing is very gory, very intense, and James Gunn always likes to use the same people pretty much in all of his cast. You can guarantee you're going to see those faces here. This is actually one of his better stacked casts to a film. So please go check this one out. I want more people out there to know about this film so I have more people to talk about it with. Unfortunately, this is the only one on the list where I haven't found where you can stream it for free, but you can rent it on Prime, so go check it out. And coming in at number 1, Come to Daddy. Released in 2019, tells the story of a man who finally reconnects with his estranged father and decides to go visit him through a long weekend. But upon arriving, he soon discovers that the man that he thought was his father may not be everything he thought, and that he himself may be in danger. So that is a very vague, non-spoiler way to describe this film. However, I want people to walk into this as blind as I did. I never watched a trailer. I never read the back of the cover. I'm just a huge Elijah Wood fan. And I know that you need to pay attention to anything he does when it comes to horror. So everyone needs to walk into this film blind to get the same experience I did to understand why it is number 1. The first half of this film you think is going in one direction, but by the time you get to the second half, it has flipped the script and turned everything on its head, and now we are in pure chaos. You are as lost and confused as Wood's character, and that is the point. And this film is still responsible for one of the most surprising, gory dismemberments of a certain appendage that I can't say. So please, do yourselves a favor. Go check out Come to Daddy. It is currently streaming for free on Pluto and Tubi. You will walk away highly impressed. And I'm not going to say what elements that this picks from, but you'll be able to distinguish where it got its source material from. So please do yourselves a favor and check this one out. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that top 10 list, and I hope I gave you guys some strong recommendations for films to check out in the future. Now, what's coming up next for us? This coming weekend upon filming this, July 12th through the 13th, we will be at Nashville HorrorCon, and we will also be hosting our very first panel there on Sunday at 3 o'clock. So if you're in the area and you want to come check us out, please do. We look forward to meeting and seeing all of you there. But we also have another announcement. We are going to be at CreepyCon in Knoxville, August 1st through the 2nd. It's going to be our first time attending and covering this event, so we are highly looking forward to it. So if you're in the area, come check us out. We'd love to say hi to everybody. But until next time, we'll see you guys around.